Passed unanimously. Moving forward, are there any additions to the agenda, Council? Hearing none from administration, Mr. Warren.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's no additions from administration tonight.
Moving forward, we have no public hearings and notices. We have no, delegations and proclamations. Do we have a Spark Center update, please?
Yeah, just 1 second here. Let me share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen here? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so happy to be here providing council with, I believe this is the 5th update on the Credit Union Spark Center construction since we started back in February of 2019. So we've been going for quite a while and we're nearing the finish line. So it's getting to the exciting stages of the project where we're really able to see exactly what the final facility is going to look like. So we'll just go through a quick presentation and some pictures of the space, and then if you have any questions about our status or about how things are going, we can answer them at the end for you. So the construction of the Credit Union Spark Center has seen significant progress since I last gave an update back in October of 2020. So our exercise track has been installed, our turf has been installed, our multi-purpose rooms are near completion, change rooms are near completion, mini gym is having the equipment and the flooring installed here shortly. The bulk of our mechanical, electrical, and HVAC systems are nearing completion. Virtually all of our walls are boarded, framed, and painted, and flooring throughout the entire facility is just winding up here. So as I mentioned, the construction phase of this project is on its final stretch. We're still on schedule to be substantially complete by March of 2021, near the end of March 2021. Following that substantial completion, we'll go through the commissioning process of the building, and then once satisfactory results are obtained, the building will be handed over to the city. So the upcoming milestones that we see in the near distant future here, the completion of the construction, the mechanical air balancing will take place, all of our commissioning of all the equipment in the facility will be completed. So basically, we've hired Stantec to do a commissioning on the building, which will have all the equipment tested and up to industry spec before it's handed over, so we're not left with any surprises. Following that, the facility will be handed over to the city, and then we'll begin our major out-of-contract work, which I'll touch base on in a little while here. At that same time, we'll begin hiring our staff and really diving deep into the operational plans for the facility to open in September 2021. So as I mentioned, there is quite a bit of work that's left to remain until we open in September of this year. So some of those items include the outdoor multi-sport arena completion needs to happen. So our arena boards, basketball nets, players boxes, that kind of thing need to be installed. The installation of our simulators for the simulator room and all the equipment that come along with it. The installation of any other specialized equipment or supplies throughout the building, the general building fit up, our employee onboarding and specialized training, and our program development. So we currently do have a few calls for tender and request for proposals out in the industry and on SAS tenders. So some of those project awards will be coming back to council in March of 2021, so just in a few weeks here. And then we'll really get to start on the post-construction out-of-contract items. So this is just a quick snapshot. So based on the current contract amount, we're at about 96% complete, and we remain in good standing to be completed in September of 2021. I will note that during my last update number 5, I had stated that we were at 90% complete, but our contractor came back to me and said they had missed some things, so we weren't quite that far down the line, but we are very near the completion of the construction. So Wright Construction has been on site for 733 days, and they have only 52 days remaining. So when I come back for my next update to council, Wright will be demobilized, and we will be in that space and starting to make it our own. So to date, we've been successful in receiving some substantial funding through different sponsors and donations and grants, and we're awaiting the final announcement on a few others. Total commitments as of today from these donors and fund streams is just over $2.6 million. And that funding will go directly back to the payment on the construction of the project. So I've just got a few photos from around the facility to kind of show what it looks like and where we are at with things. So this is the exterior of the building, probably my favorite picture that we have of the facility. So things are all buttoned up around the exterior of the building, and all the landscaping is roughly finished. Following winter, we may have our landscaping company come back and fix any deficiencies that we have following the melt. This is the main entrance of the facility. So the leisure services offices are in the back, and then we'll have the front desk around here. Interesting to note, we've actually incorporated some original stone from the mental hospital that will be built right into the front end of the building. So it adds some history and some culture of Weyburn right into the new construction. So in the distance, this is the food vendor lease space. So we've left kind of a blank slate there, and we'll actually be putting out an RFP for somebody to move in there and operate a business, whether that be a small coffee shop or a sandwich shop or whatever it is that they may propose to us. So we will be releasing that RFP in the next few months, and then hopefully we get a number of bidders, and we can bring that back to council for final decision on what we want to have in that space. So these are a few views of the gallery. It is nearing completion. They're just now finalizing the electrical controls for the lighting system and for the HVAC system. Nice big space. Curator is extremely excited about it. So the pottery studio is really taking shape. There's lots of shelving, water access. Down this whole side will be built-in cabinetry for lots of storage. Space for their kilns with proper overhead ventilation systems so that we can operate safely while the building is being used. So we have 3 multi-purpose rooms that are off of the pottery studio as well, with dividing walls. Within those spaces we have water available, some cabinetry, shelving for coffee service or anything that's necessary for different groups to hold meetings or for different programs to be taking place. So we're really excited about the functionality of this space and the fact that we can adjust the room size to fit for each group that wants to use it. We see this space being used for everything from meetings to fitness classes due to the multi-purpose flooring that is in that space as well. So this is a look at the community commons. So this area is 50% shared costs by both the school and the city. It will be an area that's utilized by both groups as well. So you'll have some tables and chairs in here. And it's the space that links the 2 buildings. So we do have the ability to lock off either side of the building to control traffic flows and whatnot. This is the joint kitchen that is off of that community commons space, so it'll be utilized for different meal services for meetings or for school purposes or for programming. So the bulk of our main washrooms are also located in the shared space, so they're starting to come together. On the right side of your screen is the men's washroom, and on the left side of your screen is the women's washroom. So flooring's in, all the tile work is done. They're just doing the final stages of those 2 rooms before they are wrapping them up. Mechanical room, everything is in place and connected, and the early testing has begun. So this is the mechanical room for just our side of the facility, but it's all looking to be in good shape. And then this is a large storage room, so there will actually be adequate space in here for several user groups to rent out caged-in lockers to keep their equipment and their supplies right on site, so they can easily access it both from the park side and from inside the building. User groups never have enough space, and they always struggle with trying to move things around, so we're pretty excited to have this. We will also utilize the space to keep some of our things. With any build, you always want more storage, and we're hoping that we've built in enough storage for what we need here. So this is a view from the 2nd floor, looking down at the half FIFA size synthetic sport turf. So it's all installed and ready to go. So it's a synthetic grass filled with sand and rubber pellets. Should last us 25 to 30 years as long as we maintain it properly. The mini gym, as you can see, the basketball nets are hung and ready to go, so they're just kind of wrapping up the paint and the flooring, and then they'll be finished with that space as well. So this is the future home to the simulator room. So 4 simulator locations. We're looking at some different options. The RFP will be going out shortly, so we're looking at systems that have up to 79 golf courses, 35 multi-sport games, and things like zombie dodgeball that are loaded right into the system. So this is going to be a great area for different groups to hold parties or year-end events. It's connected to the mini gym through a skyfold wall, so we can actually rent out both the spaces as one. So we see this being a really good benefit to the community, and lots of people will utilize the space. This is the future home to the MNP Play Center, the Climb and Play area. So that structure RFP is actually out right now with the closing date in early March. So by the 2nd council meeting in March, we will bring back a recommendation for the final product that will go into that space. As you can see, the 2nd level track is installed. So this is Olympic quality tracking. They still have to paint the lanes. There will be 3 lanes down this tracking. It will suit the needs of everyone who wants to go from a light morning walk to the high school students that maybe want to train in the off season. Really excited about this product. It will last us a long time, and it's basically as high end as you can go, and will really serve our community well. The outdoor rink pad is all poured. The electrical is there for the lighting, so we just have to come in probably in late summer. We will have the boards and everything installed, and it will be opening along with the rest of the building. And then back to the community commons area. So this is on the north side of the 2 buildings. It's where the 2 buildings connect, and it will have access into the park. So users of the soccer fields of the park space can actually access that space from the park side and make use of the washrooms or the other amenities in the building. So that is a brief update on the Spark Center, where we are at, and just showing how close we are to completion. So if anybody has any questions or comments, I'd be more than willing to answer.
This is Councillor Mickle, Andrew. First of all, I want to thank you and your team for all the work you've done in this major city facility, which is now the Credit Union Spark Center. When we started this process a 3 years ago, the people that were at the meetings, a couple questions come up. You addressed one of them today, and I'm asking them both to you, so the taxpayers of this city knows what's going on. The questions that were asked then and certainly asked now, is the project on time? And the most important one, is it on budget? So could you address those 2 items for us, please, Andrew?
Yeah, for sure. So we have stayed very much on schedule, basically to the month that Wright Construction had kind of shot out for at the beginning at project award. We've gotten very lucky through the whole COVID-19 pandemic that not too much was impacted. There are a few items that saw some shipping delays or some construction delays, but we're still very much sitting on schedule, and we are still within the project budget. We're still sitting pretty there. We have seen some things pop up, a lot to do with soil conditions, but we've been able to manage it quite nicely, and things are still looking good.
Thank you, Andrew.
Councillor Van Betju, Andrew, it's, as far as the sponsorship naming rights, are there still some opportunities left for people to grab onto?
Yeah, absolutely. We still have quite a few opportunities left. We have about 5 change rooms and several major features available, including the arts area, the synthetic turf area. So there are some great opportunities out there still if businesses are looking to take advantage of them.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Andrew, again, I would like to, from all of our council here, from past council and this present council, I'd like to thank you and your team for this wonderful project that you worked with. City Administrator Warren also too, that had a great pitch within it. The whole, all the city administration that worked together to make this and bring this to fruition. This is going to be a very much of a crown jewel within our community and within the whole regional area. So thank you again with most sincerity. Thank
you. We're in a situation where we've really benefited benefited from all the work at the very front end that went into this project, and it's set us up for the position we're in right now. So there definitely has been a ton of work and effort into this facility, and it's been very thought out. So yeah, it is going to be spectacular for a city of our size. We're becoming the envy of the province, that's for sure.
Very good. Thank you. If there's nothing else, we'll move on to the reports from the Standing Committee. We have Mr. Van Betju. Will you deliver the Police Commission report?
Thank you, Your Worship. A regular meeting of the Weyburn Police Commission held by electronic means, Zoom, at 4 p.m. Tuesday, January 19, 2021. Motion to allow for meetings by electronic means was the first motion. And we moved on to additions to the agenda. Moved by Councillor Van Betju, seconded by Councillor Richards, that the following be added to the agenda: clearance rates, 5-year numbers, and board members' numbers. Delegation: Trevor Tessier, Director of Primary Healthcare, spoke to the board. Chairman McCormick welcomed Trevor Tessier, the Director of Healthcare for the Saskatchewan Health Authority. Mr. Tessier gave a brief summary on his background and advised he hopes to work with communities to increase health of the community. The board and Mr. Tessier discussed a partnership between police and health, as well as the hub in the area. Discussion on providing awareness and assistance on substance abuse and safety around it. There is nothing as far as correspondence. Chief London provided the mayor's report and stats data for November 2020, which included a month-end stats report for December's crime stats, 5-year average report, and mental health calls for December report, and December 2020 arrest reports. Chief Brundon provided the accounts payable report for 2020. Mayor Roy inquired of the cost for each recruit, and Chief Brundon advised that the total cost would be $11,000 per recruit for outfitting and education. Chief Blunden provided a budget comparison report and a budget summary report. Chief Blunden then provided a bylaw report for December 2020. Councillor Richard stated he has heard complaints regarding semi-trucks parking at Tim's. Police Chief Blunden advised he has had officers go and enforce when trucks park the wrong way here, which is quite often. Police Chief Blunden provided a report on the last 5 years clearance rate for Weyburn and Saskatchewan. There is nothing in unfinished business. On new business, board member Barclay Charlton inquired if the board should look at adding another committee member. Councillor Richard suggested that instead of adding members, perhaps look at assigning terms to the members to ensure the numbers are staggered so you always have experienced members. Mayor Roy suggested the board consider the idea of assigning terms in the future. Councillor Richard suggests he will work with City Clerk Richter to come up with a rotating seat plan for the board members. The board then moved into camera, and at 6:30 moved out of camera, and the meeting was adjourned. There was a special meeting of the Police Commission on January 26, 2021. Police Chief Blunden provided the final proof of the Weyburn Police Service 2021 business plan. The chief advised he is working with City Communications Coordinator Tenbolt to do a press release and public relations around the business plan. Chief Blunden advised he is also working with SaskHealth in regard to a segment on drug strategy, awareness, education, and intervention. The board then moved into closed camera and then out of closed camera, and the meeting was adjourned.
Any questions? Hearing none, we will make note that that report was received and filed. We have a consent agenda. They have the reports for the water treatment plant, utilities report, the property tax collection report, the building department annual report, and the public works report. With that, could I have a motion that those shall be received?
Your worship, this is Councillor Van Betju. I'd like to make a motion that the items on the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Your worship, this is Councillor Janke. I would like to second that motion.
All those in favor, Councillor Van Betju?
Yes.
Councillor Janke?
Yes.
Councillor Corrigan? Councillor Corrigan?
Yes.
Councillor Richards?
Yes.
Councillor Morissette?
Yes.
Councillor Mickle?
Yes.
And Mayor Roy? Yes. Moved unanimously. Moving on to the next one, the motions, accounts payable. Do I have a motion, please?
Yes, Your Worship.
Your worship, this
This is Councillor
Sir.
Mickle speaking. I'm prepared to make a motion that the purchases in the amount of $2,051,549.40 from January 8th to January 21st, 2021 be approved.
Your worship, this is Councillor Morissette. I will second that.
All those in favor? Councillor Van Betju?
Yes.
Councillor Janke?
Yes.
Councillor Corrigan?
Yes.
Councillor Richards?
Yes.
Councillor Morissette?
Yes.
Councillor Mickle?
Yes.
Mayor Roy? Yes. Passed unanimously. We have the appointment of officer of City of Weyburn. Appointment of development officer, pardon me, City of Weyburn. Mr. Warren?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Tonight we're looking at appointing Janine Fletcher as our development officer. So currently your development officer is me, and I was appointed back in March of 2018, actually March 12th of 2018, when I actually became the acting city manager. As per the Planning and Development Act, which is within Section 13, it's required the municipality has appointed development officer. Now that Janine has been with the city for some time now, I'd like to actually have her now, because her role is the Planning and Development Coordinator, to be in that role now for the City of Weyburn. So I'm just asking council to make that motion to move Janine Fletcher into that role.
You have a motion, please?
Your worship, this is Councillor Janke. I am pleased to move that Janine Fletcher be appointed as the development officer for the City of Weyburn as per Section 3.1 of the City of Weyburn Zoning Bylaw 2020-3412 and the Plan and Development Act 2007.
Do you have a second?
Your worship, it's Councillor Richards. I'd be happy to second that motion.
All those in favor, Councillor Van Betchu,
Yes.
Councillor Janke,
Yes.
Councillor Corrigan,
Yes.
Councillor Richards,
Yes.
Councillor Morissette,
Yes.
Councillor Mickle,
Yes.
Mayor Roy, yes, passed unanimously. Tax enforcement 2020 list of arrears. Finance, Ms. Al.
Hello. Okay, so we have the 2020 list of arrears, and these is anyone that hasn't paid their taxes for 2020. So they will receive a 60-day notice, and after the 60 days, if they don't pay their taxes, then we will put a lien on the property.
Do you have a motion, please?
Your worship, Councillor Corrigan here. Move that the tax enforcement arrears list for 2020 totaling $199,784.63 provided by the city assessor be accepted as presented.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that, your worship. Councillor Van Betchu.
Discussion?
I have a question, your worship.
Yes.
How does this appear, Laura, to our 2019 stats?
It's very similar, actually. It's not much different.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing no other questions. All those in favor, Councillor Van Betchu,
Yes.
Councillor Janke,
Yes.
Councillor Corrigan,
Yes.
Councillor Richards,
Yes.
Councillor Morissette,
Yes.
Councillor Mickle,
Yes.
Mayor Roy, yes, passed unanimously. Tax enforcement, 6-month notice. Do you have a motion, please?
Your worship, did Laura Missal want to speak to
I
this at all
should
first?
say, yeah, I was gonna, I'll let you go first, Laura. Sorry.
Yeah, I can speak to it. So we have 57 properties that still have taxes outstanding for their 2019 original roll. There was a lien put on June 1st of 2020 to register these properties, and they still haven't paid their taxes. So now we're giving them a 6-month notice, and they have 6 months to pay the taxes, or we will be sending a letter in August to provincial mediation to request consent of title.
How many properties again?
57.
Do you have a motion, please?
Your worship, this is Councillor Morissette, and I would be happy to make the motion that the city assessor be authorized to continue under the Tax Enforcement Act to serve 6 months notice as set out under Section 23 of the Tax Enforcement Act.
Do I have a second?
This is Councillor Mickle, and I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Laura, how does this, again, kind of like what Councillor Mickle had said before, how does this correspond to last year? That's 57, that's quite a few.
Yeah, it's very similar actually to the year before.
Okay. Call the question. Councillor Van Betchu, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Janke,
Yes.
Councillor Corrigan,
Yes.
Councillor Richards,
Yes.
Councillor Morissette,
Yes.
Councillor Mickle,
Yes.
Mayor Roy, yes. Tax enforcement, consent of title. Laura?
All right, so we have a property that has been in tax enforcement since 2017. The 2016 taxes were outstanding at that time. Provincial Mediation Board has been in contact with them since 2018 and has not received response from the owner. We've gone back and forth with the owner a few times. They've promised to make payments and have not. So the next step is for consent of title of the property.
Do you have a motion, please?
Yes, your worship, this is Councillor Van Betchu. I make a motion that council authorize the City of Weyburn tax assessor to proceed with acquiring title as per section 26.1 of the Tax Enforcement Act for the property in the city of Weyburn, lot 68, block 11, plan 99 Southeast 38080.
Do I have a second?
Your worship, it's Councillor Richards. I'll second that motion.
Discussion? Hearing none. Call the question. Councilor Van Betchu, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilor Janke?
Yes.
Councilor Corrigan?
Yes.
Councilor Richards?
Yes.
Councilor Morissette?
Yes.
Councilor Mickle?
Yes.
Mayor Roy? Yes. There's no introduction of bylaws. There are no unfinished business. And moving forward, we have got a home occupation permit. Go ahead, Janine.
Good evening. Tonight I'll be presenting an application that has been received for a home occupation permit at 502 Brown Crescent for a hobby crafting business. Given the fact that clients will be attending the home occupation, it's considered controversial in the zoning bylaw and it requires council approval.
What are our options?
I'll present the location and your options, and
Okay.
then you can. So the property is located at the corner of Brown Crescent and Barber Crescent. The applicant is requesting permission to operate a hobby crafting business. The anticipated traffic increase is minimal, with clients occasionally picking up orders and a driveway is on site to accommodate the additional parking. The applicant has previously received council approval to operate this home-based business at another location and has moved to this location, so they're required to get new approval here. Home-based businesses must meet the following provisions. They must be incidental and secondary to the use of the premise as a residence. They have to be compatible with residential uses. They have to be limited in extent in terms of volume of materials sold and the number of clients. They must not substantially increase the volume of traffic and not detract from the residential character of the zone. So the options are that council approves the home occupation at 502 Brown Crescent subject to the following conditions. No person other than a resident of the dwelling unit shall be engaged in the home occupation as an employee or volunteer. No advertisement carrying the address of the dwelling in which the home occupation occurs may be placed in any media. The face of any home business sign on site must not exceed 0.092 square meters and must be placed within the inside half of the front yard setback. Home occupations are subject to periodic review to ensure compliance. Owner's driveway shall be used for off-street parking of clients, and a City of Weyburn business license shall be obtained prior to operation of the home occupation. So staff are recommending that the other option would be to refuse it, and the officer making the motion would have to provide a reason as to why it's being refused. So the staff recommendation would be that home occupation permit application 2021.002 for permission to operate a crafting business at 502 Brown Crescent be approved subject to the conditions as outlined in option number 1.
Do you have, first off, do you have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion, Your Worship. I move that the home occupation application of Bryn Kopek to operate a hobby crafting business at 205 Brown Crescent, Block 1, Block 1E, Plan 101-967-587, zoned as R2, be approved with the conditions as recommended by the Plan and Development Coordinator.
Do you have a second?
Your Worship, Councillor Corrigan here. I will second that motion.
Any questions and discussion?
Your worship,
Yes.
Councillor Richards, just a quick question for Director Coordinator Fletcher. Janine, I think you may have said this, but I may have not heard it. Normally, when there is one of these, even though this one was approved in another location, we did canvass the neighborhood, correct?
Yes, notice was sent out to everyone within a 50-meter radius as required by the zoning bylaw, and we received no correspondence.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
Yes, Your Worship. Janine, these conditions are fairly standard, are they not?
Yes, they're what's required by the zoning bylaw.
Right. So, I mean, the applicant's already aware of them?
Yep, they would have been the same ones that were applied to our original permit back in 2019.
Right. Excellent. Thank you.
Hearing no more following questions, call the question. Those in favor? Councillor Van Betju,
Yes.
Councillor Janke,
Yes.
Councillor Corrigan,
Yes.
Councillor Richards,
Yes.
Councillor Morissette,
Yes.
Councillor Mickle,
Yes.
Mayor Roy, yes. Passed unanimously. Now, moving forward, inquiries and announcements, anything of any of the council? Hearing none, everybody's very quiet here tonight. Wow. We are all here at SUMA. Well, I shouldn't say we're all here at SUMA. There's some of us are attending SUMA and it's all virtual. So they opened here today, a bit of a sessions. So with that, the Premier spoke. A lot of this stuff will be posted probably by SUMA on CTV News and on different sites, so you can see what is going on for the people of Weyburn. And as I said, this is one of their first council virtual conventions, so we'll see how this all wraps up here at the end of Wednesday. With seeing anything else anyone would like to say? Hearing nothing else, there's no notice of motions, so therefore I call this meeting adjourned.